Ahoy, chummers! Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Shadowrun. Nothing personal. Hope y'all are excited for all these wacky adventures, or possibly grimdark adventures we're going to have today. I'm not sure how today's going to go, and we'll see why here in a moment. Either way, it should be exciting with this wonderful group of people. By the way, guys, why don't you guys introduce yourselves while I'm clickety-clacking things?
Sure, we can start from right to left, since... Tough, deal with it.
Hi, I'm the only one not in cosplay because it's hot as fuck. I'm LimaZuluTango. I play Shade.
It's true, he does. He's the man with a plan and a gun in his hand.
I'm the man with a plan, a gun in my hand, and ammo to spare.
Is it your background cosplaying?
My blue screen is on point, but I am not.
Truth in that. All right, next we've got Chord, as played by Speedy. What do we know about Chord?
Chord is a Boston native who has quite an obsession with everything from the old days, back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. All the best hits. He's a fan of analog.
Not the 2080s, mind you, the 1980s.
Correct.
Old school.
The good old days when music was real. Unlike today, where they just listen to beeps and boops made by a machine. Which is why I use my machine with beeps and boops to hack into things. But I try to do so as analog as possible. That's why I've got a mechanical keyboard that's about 50 years old on my cyber deck, which is new.
This is fine. This is fine. All right, next we have Smiley, as played by OnTheForeFront, aka 4. Tell us about Mr. Smiley, please.
Well, Smiley lives in a very small apartment where it thunderstorms all the time, so you'll be hearing that from time to time. I think. And he is an elf with such sinister magics. Yes, and also he is a sort of a chip on the shoulder, really happy fella. Might be because of his corporate background, might be because he genuinely feels no worries. Or he might genuinely be a sociopath. We'll find out. But essentially, he's here to make nice and bring a smile.
Very cool. And I think that that leaves me as Hoss, your local troll samurai. Good guy gone bad because he has to. I am just out of high school, going into college, forced there by my parents and recruiters, your sports athlete, superstar, or prodigy to be. And I didn't do things the way that I was told. I'm definitely like that underdog / good guy story. I was told to take a fall in a match, and I just couldn't see my coach through. I couldn't take the loss. Couldn't take the L. And then I was met by my own comeuppance, courtesy of a local gang. I beat his son in the wrestling match, and they beat me quite viciously, so much so that I lost the use of my arms. But I was contacted by an individual who promised me that I would see my rise yet again, and they paid for these bad boys, these cybernetic monsters that make me Hoss. Shadowrunner, only because he has to be.
And he's gone bad from being good, and Shade intends to make him worse.
Shade can try, but I have a feeling he's going to pick up the truck and throw it at Shade.
Yeah, because you can't dent the frickin' thing. If you can't dent the truck, throw the truck.
That's right. Well, I couldn't dent it, partially because of my poor rolls, but secondly because Smiley was like, no, somehow let's take off the auto dent, or give it auto shield or something like that.
Speaking of those little details, also, hi, I'm Misfortune. I am nobody except I am here, and I'm here to GM for these wonderful people.
You are everybody.
Exactly.
I am
You're quite
everyone,
literally
and
everybody.
I'm
You're everybody -4.
pretty
And
much.
4.
Yeah, we've got all the hard ones over here. We actually have names. He's got Random Guard B, Random Guard C.
You don't want to mess
Hey,
with
those
me.
guards have names. Misfortune, name all of those guards right
No! Random guard F! I know it so well!
Speedy, do you know what Order of the Stick is?
now. No.
I
It's
do.
it's a webcomic, and one of the like main sidekicks is dying, and like, no, we can't let you die, and then they say his name, and suddenly he's a character, and then he's fine. It's like, but I have a last name too. You better save that for an emergency.
Save it for a convenient plot twist involving a relationship with the main antagonist of the story.
Hey,
Exactly.
spoilers.
Alright,
So what are we getting ourselves into today, Misfortune?
So we're going to be skipping this week's Shadowrun slang. I know some of you are looking forward to that, but we're skipping some of the slang today. And we're going to be taking stock of all the events that have occurred last night. And by the way, I need to fetch the date, because I forgot what date it's going to be. It is going to be April 12th. I'll make a note. So we are going into April 12th, but we're going to go over the events of April 11th last night. aka episodes 1 through 3 of Shadowrun. Nothing personal. So our 4 runners, Haas, Shade, Chord, and Smiley, picked up a job for a data steal, and were told to meet their contact at the Midnight Glade, a very fancy, nice restaurant out in downtown. There they met Mr. Jameson, a professional but terse man with a mission and very strict parameters. Break into a secure Mitsuhama Computer Technologies R&D facility. Mitsuhama is one of the Big 10 corps that rule the world, I should mention. Steal their prototype Izanagi AI and deliver the data within 3 hours. These demands were way too risky, sketchy, and reckless for the runners, but they needed the money and they needed it bad. So the group set out to the facility, and while they did manage to steal the data, it wouldn't be quiet nor clean, per se, as the runners' faces were exposed by a hostage whom Smiley ordered the execution of with Shade's assistance. And the alarm brought the Knight Errant crashing down on the facility just as they made their narrow escape. After catching their breath and Haas exchanging some terse words with Shade, the group went back to the Glade to cash in their pay data. Unfortunately, Mr. Jameson had no such plans of paying them, with the entire club staff at his defense, and a grenade primed as extra insurance. He demanded they give him the drive. Chord initially refused, but Smiley cast a spell on him and dropped the bomb to have him give up the drive as he got up and snuck his way back out of the facility, as if to get out of there before something worse than some ticked-off runners would show up. And sure enough, as Mr. Jameson assured the group, this betrayal was nothing personal. In breached a TAC team of mercenaries belonging to Neonet to take him into custody, but Mr. Jameson released his stun grenade and flashed the club just as the firefight began to break out between the mercs and the security as he made his getaway. Also cue one very salty LZT.
And how?
The firefight ended quickly, lasting no more than a couple of minutes, with the Neonet mercenaries led by Eliza Morrow coming out with the victors. With the club owner Turnus Jugenweld knocked out cold and handed over to Eliza's men, thanks to one giant troll. The runners would then be escorted out to speak with her in private, where they learned a major revelation. Mr. Jameson would turn out to be an imposter, murdering the real Mr. Johnson of the job and taking his place in the Midnight Glade. Furthermore, the tight time restriction was placed on the runners in order to get him the data before Neonet would arrive to expose him. If I recall right, there was supposed to be 3 days on the job before the Izanagi program went public, but he kind of urged you on to get that thing out before Neonet showed up, and showed up they did. So, once this information was given to the runners, the group attempted to bargain for their money they were promised, or at least wanted out, but Eliza made sure to let them know that it was their fault that they gave the drive to the wrong client, and were tasked to complete their contract and clean up their mistake, lest they bear down the full weight of Neonet on their shoulders. And so Eliza gave the team a compensation by way of being generously provided by the deceased security guards of the club to pay for their hunt of Mr. Jameson. She would also provide a lead on a young but ambitious Yakuza lieutenant eager to move up in the world that may or may not provide the runners with a favor in their investigation and pursuit of Mr. Jameson. The team are left one final parting gift of contact information to reach Eliza just before ending their long night of solace. With the stakes firmly placed, the runners had some tough calls to make. But their first most likely should be with Eliza Mora and any turnout from their captive Tarnus Yogenweld. So, you guys are feeling sore as hell, and I'm sure some of you had some bandages you had to lick your wounds and get patched up. I'm trying to remember who actually got seriously injured. I think it was Smiley.
I don't know. I think I just got stun damage, didn't I?
Yeah, I think Smiley only got stunned.
Yeah, I got shot.
You got some drain too, right?
I did get like 2 drain, I think.
Tiny drain. Tiny drain.
Tiny Dwayne.
Tiny little Dwayne.
Oh, I have 3 stun wounds, and I don't see where my drain is, but I think I only got like 2.
Drain is basically what would roll in the instance that is what would happen in the instance of when you do a spell, and apparently, luckily, our cheat sheet automatically does all those drain rolls for us in the same goes.
Yup.
Okay, so you didn't have it too bad there, Ford. I know LZT took a couple of hits, but nothing too serious.
I
Otherwise,
did not take a single hit.
don't take a single hit, not even stun.
Nope. Nothing. I had a very convenient table that I persuaded Bub not to throw.
But he wasn't anywhere near you.
Yeah, I
You
know.
also rolled very poorly, Misfortune.
I did roll terribly that night. My dice were drunk. Drunk dice all the way. Okay, so we're going to pick it up by about April 12th, say probably 8 a.m. in the morning. You guys are feeling a little bit sore from your very long night. Probably a little tired. It was about 1 a.m. when you probably got home. So, let's go scene by scene, starting with Haas. It is now the following day, about 8 or 9 a.m., depending whether or not you slept on or not, and you were feeling a little, I don't want to say sore, but you did definitely feel a bit of the fatigue from last night's festivities.
Yeah, I wasn't properly equipped for any of it. I didn't have any of my protection. So I'll probably start with breakfast. You know, spending some time with my cats.
And as you collect your cat food and your troll food, you do notice that it is still raining from last night. The rain
Definitely
has not gone away.
Definitely just cereal. Say troll food like it's such a negative thing. It's Captain Crunch, man. I mean, it's soy,
but
Captain
the
Soy.
captain's got tusks.
Yeah, that's right.
Some soy puffs.
Yes. Probably minding my own business, thinking about how I can operate in this day without letting my parents down.
Did you tell them about what happened last night?
No, they don't know that I'm a runner.
Probably a good idea.
No, my mother would beat the hell out of me.
Do they know that you're in debt?
They think that this is a like a sponsorship. Like the Horizon Group is sponsoring me.
Nice.
That's nice.
At 9 p.m. at night. Sure. I
No,
guess
he was just out with friends.
He was just out feeding kittens tonight. That's
No, he did say he was getting in a suit and he had to meet some important people. You know, he had to dress nice for the occasion. And that is what he told them before.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I'm assuming that I went. Did I go back to my apartment or did I go to my parents' house? I'm assuming that I went.
I gave you a ride, so I don't know where I took you.
I'm assuming that I went to my apartment. That's why I'm thinking about, like, what am I going to do today? What
there
am
were
I
a lot
going?
of cats there. That's all I remember.
Yeah. What am I going to do to explain to my parents that I was shot at all night long?
Oh, and you have some very powerful people that you have to deal with.
Yeah, well, I mean, not as strong as my mom, man.
You say that now.
I'm going to gather my wits about me and then probably send the equivalent of a text over to anyone up. I'll probably hit the group text.
You hit that group
Hi,
text.
smiley face.
And do you contact everyone?
I do. I'm an emoji-using monster.
Okay.
You are about to meet your match.
Boy.
I give you a toothy grin, smiley face. All
But
right.
it's upside down too.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, jeez.
Chord's cyberdeck doesn't show emojis.
Of course.
I imagine you get like ASCII emojis.
Yeah.
No. It makes very happy or sad R2D2 beeps and boops.
How do you portray giant eyes? Well, @ signs would work.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll scene cut over to 4 first as he receives the text. Smiley, what are you doing at about 9 a.m. in the morning after your festivities last night? You're definitely feeling a little sore. You did get banged up.
It's all oof. This has been rough. I haven't been so rough.
Yeah, you got some bruises. Not to mention your internals just feel a little like haywire from your couple of your drinks.
I was shot at!
You were shot at. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Does it feel good to not be dead?
Well, it does, but...
Do you have a new appreciation on life and now an appreciation for the fact that maybe you just totally robbed somebody of theirs? Do you understand the value of life now?
Well, no, because I still have to work with these people. Like, I'm not satisfied. I am not satisfied by what happened last night. Last night should have been something that Grun would appreciate, but it's not. And now Smiley is poring over his various books and notes and journals, trying to figure out the best course of action. He's poring over his own thoughts onto whether or not he should contact the well-meaning orc that he looks up to or his sister-in-law.
Well, before you could really finish your contemplation, you do receive a text from Haas.
How are doing? Is there an orc or a troll emoji?
I'm sure there are some troll
Okay,
emojis.
I send a troll emoji and then a winky elf emoji.
Meanwhile, we'll see how this is received by Chord and LZT. Speaking of Chord and LZT.
Oh wait, no, I won't do that yet. That's when I have a mystery to solve.
Sure. So we'll cut to Chord after you get your, I guess your beeps and boops on your comlink. Or your cyber deck. Which do you have it programmed to arrive on when you receive messages?
What?
Essentially, like, do you have any and all incoming text just going to your cyber deck? Do you have them going to your comlink? Or do you have it, like, bouncing from your comlink to your cyber deck?
Stay a while and listen.
So I want to say he has a beeper. He has a beeper that goes off that's like on his side, and that alerts him that there's a message on his cyber deck. Cyber deck is incapable of giving notifications, so. But it does pop up on his cyber deck.
All right, so you get a couple exchanges of emojis between Haas and Smiley.
I don't respond. I'm going to wait until they say something productive.
Well, let's see if LZT, our veteran Shadowrunner, has something productive to say as he received these 2 text messages. Well, he is doing what?
I'm at the gym.
You're at the gym this early in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've become very used to the concept of catch sleep when you can, and I'm therefore never in much need of sleep because I always catch like cat naps. So I'm up pretty early in the morning, and exercise regularly. So I'm probably on some contraption running in place.
And you too receive a text message from Haas and Smiley.
I write sup ?
And now you're all in real-time text messaging.
Is anybody else like hurt this morning? Because I ache, all caps.
My legs are tired.
I'm just gonna send a picture of me with like 3 of my cats eating my soy puffs. Probably have like a stream of milk running down my chin.
Chord messages, laying on the floor while hacking isn't comfortable.
Well, you better stretch your legs because today is the first day of absolute He erases it several times.
Smiley is writing ... disappears.
Because he's like, how is this? Do I say shadow? How honest should I be in these texts? He sends.
I send back a picture of the treadmill I'm running on, and it just says #struggle.
Do people still use hashtags?
Oh yeah, it's the Neo future, man. Loads of hashtags around.
Then he says, let's figure this out. We need to find that Mr. Jameson.
Down to business.
And also, we need to do secret projects, I imagine.
Chord messages, I have a contact I can reach out to if you want to try and get a drive comparable to the one that we snatched and had snatched.
I was just about to say, do we all know that you're trying to copy the God Killer?
Smiley and Chord are the only ones who know about this plan.
Yeah, that's a DM.
Okay.
But the part about I have a contact I can reach out to is to the group.
Okay. Smiley also texts, I too have a useful contact in the shadowy business dealings. But this is my first time doing something this complicated. ... How do you find a random person whose name probably isn't Mr. Jameson in Seattle?
I'll respond back. I have a Miss Johansson. She keeps talking about wanting to sleep with me. It makes me uncomfortable.
How old is she?
I don't know. She doesn't talk about that. She keeps calling me Sweet Tusk.
Troll emoji upside down.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Who'd we lose?
No, we lost Speedy.
Oh no, Speedy.
Speedster.
Give us a second, guys. We're going through some technical difficulties.
Most tragic. While we're doing this, Dungeon Game Master, we have karma, right?
You do have karma, and I did say last session that you guys can spend that karma without the usual time cost that comes with Shadowrun, since we are playing a condensed campaign.
Okay. How much do spells cost?
So, spells are a bit of a complicated trick. Essentially, you first must get a formula in which to study and learn the spell. Generally, you should try to get them that matches your tradition, because, you know, they might be learned a certain way, depending if you're hermetic or shamanic or something else.
Okay.
After that, which usually costs some money, you must then spend, I think it was 5 karma and a period of time in using your Arcana skill in order to learn a new spell.
Okay.
But it is an extended test, and you have to have a magical lodge set. Do you have a special work area set up in your lifestyle there, Smiley?
I believe I do, yes.
Okay, so we can consider that your Force 5 Magical Lodge.
Lovely.
And 4, we did establish you were a shamanic tradition mage, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so you have a very natural kind of setup. So you probably end up using some totems, probably some candles, and you would also have to spend reagents normally.
That's right, yes.
When you're setting these up. So you'd probably use some of your wood carvings when you first initially set this up. Thankfully, it is anchored to this special room that you set up just for this lodge. But the problem is you must first still acquire a focus. Not a focus, which are useful things, I should mention. But no, what you need is a spell formula, and you have to acquire those from talismans. They are not very cheap.
Oh shit, how much are they?
You can find the pricing for these formulas in the core rulebook.
Okay.
Toward the very back end, it's one of the last items you can find there. Magical equipment, page 461, and this is where you can find these spell formulas and what their cost is.
61. Okay.
So while you're doing that, would anybody else like to go spending their karma?
I'm looking at the thing now.
What can I spend it on?
I'm glad you asked. So for those of you who don't know, and for our runners, to spend karma, how you must do this is you can spend it on your attributes, your knowledge skills, and you can spend it on your regular skills, your most important skills. The math with these is done like so. For a skill, say you're bumping it up from rating 2 to rating 3. You have to pay double the rating of the skill you're trying to move out to. So if you're going from 2 to 3, so 3, double
Let's
3.
say theoretically I want to increase my speed. What the hell do I do to do that?
That depends on how you mean by increase your speed. By increase your initiative or increase your movement speed.
My movement.
Okay, so
Get new legs.
Get new legs probably, but you're a big hulking troll.
I can't afford to get new legs. I'm nearing full-on
negative
techno
EV.
zombie.
So generally for this sort of thing, you probably want to increase your strength.
Okay.
That doesn't increase your general speed, but it does help with your running skill, which running skill is what will help you go the extra distance.
All right. I like that. So,
because the movement is based off of your race. It's not actually based off your attributes.
okay. So let's say hypothetically I have a tremendous bonus in my strength already. How many karma points might I need to adjust that, even by 1?
Hypothetically.
Well, remember, your super amazing strength stat, if you're looking at it right now,
Yeah.
that's largely based off of your arm, because that's the modified value that you're looking at there is the arm.
Okay.
The flat value, which, if I open up your character sheet, Mr. Hoss,
Flat value's 5.
yeah, your flat value is 5, so
Yeah.
that means whenever you do a running test, it's going to be running plus strength. And if you want to increase your strength, the mathematical value to increase your strength I was talking about earlier, skills, it's times 2. Attributes, it's times 5.
All right.
So if you're going from 5 to 6, that's going to be 30 karma.
So you're telling me that it's going to take a long fucking time.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
There's a small chance.
6 more episodes.
Perhaps.
All right.
Can
Now-
I post? Can I? Okay, go ahead. I have another hypothetical afterwards.
Can I get Heelys or rollerblades?
Heelys or rollerblades. You technically can, though those require some good coordination to use.
Fuck! You said the magic word. Good and coordination in the same line. This is awful.
I imagine Hoss trying to run away like Scooby-Doo, going whoop, 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 before he actually gets him, just spinning in place.
But if you don't want to try and save up your karma for a big fancy attribute, you can spend them on some skills. And like I said, the skill is the rating you want times 2. Skill group is times 5, by the way. You can increase skill groups. It's times 5.
The rating that I want times 2.
So if you want rating 3, you pay 6.
Yeah.
And if you're going from
So
3 to
if I'm
4,
going from rating 1 to rating 3, does that mean I have to go to first to rank 2, so I pay 4, and then again to rank 6 or rank 3, so I pay another 6 for a total of 10?
correct, basically.
Cool.
So you're going from-
I just upgraded my pistols to rank 3, and spent 10 karma.
We got 7 karma last time, right? As reward.
Yes, because you guys were so fancy.
Wait, how much karma should we total have right now?
Yeah, I know.
I have 14. You and LZT probably, or Chord, have a lot more than us. Because I have 14, so you should maybe have 18 or 16.
I had 18. So
Yeah,
I think I would have started with
Chord would have the most because he hasn't done anything like morally awful, unlike Smiley.
I have 14 karma.
I got 2 less than that because I was aware of the incomprehensible act, apparently.
and
So,
did nothing to stop it.
yeah.
And that counts toward your. I'm trying to remember what you had.
So is there a ceiling? Is there a ceiling to this? Like, let's say I want to theoretically bump up my clubs. It's currently at rating 6. Can I take it to 7, or is 6 my ceiling?
You can take it to 7.
Okay, all right.
Now, fun fact for all you chummers who are interested in Shadowrun, because we have to simulate that these guys are learning these skills over time, typically there's a mathematical value for how long it takes them to learn a new skill. Say, for example, if Bub's going from Club 6 to Club 7, his calculator value, if I can find it over here in my cheat sheets.
It would take him 7 weeks, wouldn't it? It's 1 per.
I believe it was like every 2 weeks once he gets into the 7s.
Oh, okay.
Is in the
Yeah,
core rule book under the advancement section.
I'm good. I've spent all my karma.
I did the same thing. I increased my automatics from 6 to 7.
Okay.
So I might be able to. I think I can afford to do 2 spells of illusion. Because they're 1,000 each for the formula.
Okay, but you would have to go buy the formula, and you have to find a talismonger who's willing to sell this sort of thing to you. By the way, LZT, you were correct. So ratings 5 through 8. If you guys are curious about the time, check out page 107 of the core rulebook. It'll have the training rate table. And this tells you the span of time it takes to generally learn any given skill. And you are supposed to do this in character. Like, you go to a gym for like a week or so to like punch some punching bags and do some drills, or you're hitting the firing range a lot. That's what it's meant to imply, the passage of time and growing better at the skill. But again, condensed campaign, we are waiving the time spent learning things.
Waved. Just like that.
Just like that. There it goes. There it goes. It's flying away. Bye-bye. Okay, so
How would I theoretically increase my matrix initiative?
to increase your matrix initiative, that is governed by your data processing for part of the value. Where is the final calculations tab that I had? Here we go. Condition monitor boxes. Yeah. All right. So, Chord. To change your matrix initiative, that is based on your data processing plus intuition.
Okay, so change either of those. I can't upgrade my data processing with karma.
Correct, but you can increase your...
Way too much to increase my intuition from 5 to 6.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Alright, that's fine.
To go along with my increase in automatics, I was not at the gym. I was at the firing range.
That's how you work out your guns at the gym.
You and I carry different guns, my friend.
No, I went to the gym. I had to improve my guns. Don't you?
Yeah. Hey, we got a snake charmer around because these pythons are sick.
All right. So I'm sure Smiley's still contemplating his spells, and Bub.
I
what would you
know.
do?
I think I know which 2 I need, but I don't know about need. I don't know.
I took my in my case, I took throwing weapons to 7.
Okay, so that would have taken off 14 karma.
Yep, I'm at 0.
Cool beans. Alrighty. So
Same for me. I had 14 and it's now at 0 because I spent all on automatics. Question: Can I don't know how it is in 5th, and I don't remember how it was in 4th, so it doesn't really help. Non-lethal automatics ammo, is that a thing?
Gel rounds.
Gel rounds. Or what's the availability on that? 12 or above or lower?
Let's see. Gel rounds. Back of the core book. Under ammunition. Where is it?
I upgraded my stealth 1 level, by the way, as well. So.
Okay, so thankfully, all you need is just a license, which you have, and they're low availability, so you could get them at any old gun store. But it's going to be 25 million per.
Yeah, I see. Availability 4F, so. No, that's hollow, sorry. 2R.
Yep, 2R. So they're pretty easy to get. The lower the availability in Shadowrun, essentially the easier it is to acquire that item.
Yep.
Dick Champion, thank you for following.
For example, if you have something that's F, it's forbidden, and R is restricted for those watching.
Correct, because forbidden basically means they are military items. The regular old civilian should not have them. However, if you're restricted, like gel rounds are, you have to have a license in order to, like, legally own those, which our very smart Shadowrunners here went through the effort of getting themselves some fake sins and fake licenses, so they cover the tracks.
I have more licenses than a goddamn DMV office.
General rule of Shadowrun is if you think you need a license, you think you need one at all, buy it.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
So people might be wondering, hey, what if it's 4 forbidden and 4 restricted? 4 forbidden doesn't matter. It's just how easy it is to get. If you get caught with them, you will be in trouble because regardless of availability, if they're forbidden, they're forbidden.
Which is the case for everyone's fake sins. They are technically forbidden items, so they better hope they don't get busted with those.
Mm-hmm. My body is ready. Take me.
I would like to buy some gel rounds.
All right, LZT. I'm trying to remember how they sell it.
Oh, you're trying to be non-lethal for Haas.
I'm rubbing off on him.
Yeah. I'm hoping to rub some off on you, so we're gonna be like, I'll just borrow your club and you can have my rifle. Oh no, it's non-lethal. Don't worry. Duck, 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 duck. It's bleeding. No, that's the gel from the gel round. I chose red. It's intimidating.
God damn it.
I'd like to buy Death Touch.
You want to buy Death Touch?
I'm just joking.
By the way, fun fact, folks, you can buy qualities and you can buy off negative qualities. The thing with negative qualities, everyone's like terrible traits they have. Qualities are double the price they're listed in the book. So if they cost 4 in the book for character creation, they become 8 to either buy positive or buy off negative. And some negatives, you have to meet certain criteria before you can get rid of them. Namely, like addiction, for example. If you're addicted to certain drugs, you have to try and do an addiction test and succeed it in order to be able to get rid of it. And you have to have the karma. There's your fun fact.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of gremlins.
Haha! You suddenly got better at your job.
No, never.
It wouldn't be
tell you.
Equipment out of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s if it didn't have the chance to fuck up on you.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta have that opportunity, like, goddamn machine.
And then it works. Yeah, exactly.
I'll buy 30 gel rounds.
I like to think that Chord has a safe at his house that's just filled with VHSs of Home Improvement.
Why Home Improvement?
Oh, just because it's like that's where that always happened. He was like the king of whatever available tech was. He had and nothing would work, so he would just hit it or jam something into it and it would work, and it would bite back, but it would work after that.
Well, coming back to LZT for a second. Right, the core book shows when you buy a thing, it's per 10 shots, so you're paying 75 new yen. And are you buying it from, what's his name? Lorenzo de la Croix.
My relationship with Lorenzo is not the best, purely because I got him from Kika's character, who isn't around anymore, so I don't know how I know Lorenzo. I probably
Or you could have just had your fixer deliver it to you. At a
Yeah, I think Shell Shock helped me out with that.
Sure. So he would have arranged it at a small premium. So spend an extra 10 yen per gel round set.
Okay, so instead of 75, it is 105.
Correct. Okay, so we never did finish up the text conversation you guys were having. I kind of jumped right in and leveling things.
We lost a Chord, so
We did lose a Chord.
That's why we passed on to. Oh no! Other
Did we
things.
leave
What did I miss though?
With, I don't remember what you left off on, but the last thing that I said was my my Johnson, my Miss Johansson calls me Mr. Sweet Tusk.
Mm-hmm. And I sent a text that was upside down, and then I asked, "How do we find our target in a big city like Seattle? Where do we start?"
We were given a piece of intel, right?
Correct, because you weren't given. Okay, so Eliza gave you contact information, which you should follow up on. But what you were also provided was a tip, a suggestion from Eliza on contacting a member of the Yakuza who might have some stake in helping you get the drive. Now, there's a hitch with that, and I need anybody who has some sort of syndicate knowledge or any Mitsuhama knowledge or sort of Shadowrun type of knowledge to roll, that kind of thing.
I will in a second.
Misfortune?
Yes.
Jen says that for the 14 karma that I spent, I could have gotten natural athlete quality, which gives me a bonus 2 dice for running and gymnastics.
If you'd like to redact your boost to throwing weapons, you can do that if you like.
Part of me feels like I already have natural athlete.
It sounds like something you would have, considering your character.
Let me check your trimmer sheet. Then again, I don't have to do that. I could just look right in your enhancements tab.
I have knowledge skills, just syndicates at 4.
Okay, roll that LZT. And Haas, you do not have that ball.
Okay, then I will take that. That's in... Oh...
Natural athlete.
Any situational modifiers with the info we had?
No.
4 successes.
Bub, you can find it on page 76, core rulebook. And coming back to LZT's roll.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out where I place it inside of the character sheet itself.
Enhancements under positive qualities. So LZT, thankfully you know your way around syndicates as you've dealt with them from time to time, but one of the big things you definitely know is that the Yakuza, they're inbred pretty tight with MCT. They basically run a lot of little rackets together, like Yakuza does some little protection jobs or some illegal stuff on the side, some fencing, some laundering, of course, while MCT basically helps supply them with certain firearms, certain electronics, and on the off occasion, some magic spells. On the off occasion. Because MCT does specialize in magic as well as tech. So LZT, long story short, you know that the Shotozumi Gumi, the main Yakuza syndicate here in Seattle.
What were they called?
The Shotozumi Gumi.
Okay.
I will spell it in the Roll20. So that is the Yakuza syndicate in downtown Seattle. Basically, they control the downtown sector. And they have very, very hostile relations with the Finnegans. The Irish mob, if you will. So, they are the main controlling power of the Yakuza here in Seattle, and they do have some ties with MCT, because MCT is based in downtown, and there's another regional headquarters in Bellevue.
Does the Irish mob have connections to anyone? I don't want to be stereotypical, but the guy's name was Mr. Jameson. He could have been less conspicuous and just called himself Mr. Johnson.
He could have.
But he wasn't talking like this, you see.
Oh, right, you see, he wasn't from Dublin, he was from Belfast. That's the issue there, lads.
And that's certainly not just because Misfortune can't do an accent to save his life.
Well, I could probably do a bit of an Irish accent.
The problem was, if he was actually Irish, he would have speaking Sprethiel, because Ireland is Tirnanog, which is pretty much all elves.
In some sense, yes. But anyway, LZT, to answer your question, the mob, they have ties just about everywhere. They have their fingers in so many pies in just about everything, legal and illegal.
Yeah, but it's like specifically the Irish one. Do they have any connections with one corp more than another? In the same way that the Yakuza had?
No. MCT, that's legendary in the shadows that they have ties to MCT, but the Mafia don't have the same kind of ties to anybody. They have little bits and pieces, but not enough to be worth mentioning. And you'd have to untangle the extremely massive mess that is so many different families within, like, the mob. Because they're very segregated across the entire world, essentially.
Yeah, the MCT and Yakuza was originally the same freaking thing, so that makes sense. They're entwined. And not so much with the Irish lads.
And here's the other funny thing: is Mitsuhama, I believe, started off as a Japanese corp, but it eventually moved to Russia. So it is
really?
Now, yeah, MCT is a corp based in Russia.
Well, going by their name, I'd say Nikolai Mitsuhama is unlikely. More in the Japanese realm of things, linguistically speaking, of course. So
actually, I might stand corrected. Mitsuhama is the world headquarters is based in Kyoto.
That makes more sense because it's the Yakuza and they're super nationalistic.
Because I could promise you, they do have a scene in Russia.
Okay.
If there's anything you need from me further, then just holler. But I'm good to go.
Okay. And actually, I stand corrected, and probably someone's going to count me on this. It's actually Evo. Evo is based in Russia, but because Evo is
I have Evo.
A bunch of stuff. And LZT, you might know them formerly as Fuji Electronics.
Yep.
Before they rebranded.
Okay, well, I'm done.
Okay.
Damn.
And Chord, did you want to do anything else?
Not upgrading my character wise. I kind of want to reach out to my my fixer and ask him for some info.
Okay, so how many of you guys are going to be requesting info from your respective fixers?
I'm not.
You're not?
Do you want to come to see mine? Do you not have one? I text.
My fixer's really nice. He could probably hook you up.
He's an orc. You could be Tusk buddies.
That's racist.
I'll go see mine after all.
All right. So,
Ouch. I'm hurt.
now, since you all are going to see your fixers at the same time for basically the same info, I'm not going to do individual scenes. Though I'm gonna do a fun roll for Miss Johansson because she has
damn it.
has a very particular set of qualities. I'm gonna have her roll composure, see what happens. Does she stay professional? Or does she like to get it on?
Oh no.
Can I resist? I dodge.
No. Composure. High composure is good. She had 2 successes. She maintains her composure.
Sick your cats on her.
She needs 3.
Oh, really? Oh.
She needs 3. Most composure rolls, you need 3. So, LZT, as soon as you... Not LZT, Haas, as soon as you arrive, I should mention it is Sunday, because you guys...
When you get there, I'm already there.
Oh. Okay. It's Sunday.
Why, hello, handsome. I'm glad you can make it out here. What can I do for you? Maybe a little extra service on the side? Hey? Of course, she is, like, running her finger up your body and down your cold, muscular arm.
No, not today, Monsieur Watson. Look, I've got some things that I gotta take care of, and some of my new friends told me that I had to come see you, that you could help me out.
Oh, come on. Surely I can help you. Just a little later. You and I can have some fun now. Business later, you know.
I would like that to not happen, Miss Johansson.
By the way, she was about to run her hand downward in a downward direction, downward somewhere.
Let's try to keep this professional.
Oh, touch you, no fun. All right, what can I do for you? She says she goes back to her desk, and now we'll resume with the search. So, I need to know if you guys are looking for the same info from all your fixers, or if anybody's looking for anything specific. I'm going to start with Haas just to see what you're looking for specifically first.
I am trying to get as many notes as I possibly can from this overall text message. But essentially, I'm trying to get information on this Jameson character. Someone that may or may not be trying to move software, quickly. Any high-price events that are happening around Seattle. Not just like your basic, like, 1,000 to 10,000 nuyen. Like, we're talking major moolah movement.
So essentially you're trying to track and see what Mr. Jameson's doing in regards to trying to maybe sell the data. Okay, Smiley, what are you trying to do? Same thing, or are you looking for something different? Because we're going to have combined roles depending on what you guys are looking for.
I kind of want the same thing, yeah.
Okay, LZT, what are you after?
I'm just general knowledge about the connection between the Yakuza and Mitsuhama thing. More in that area than the...
For what it's worth, I would also ask if she knows about any location that has a lack of protection. Like if there is a blackout zone that is widely unprotected by either Neonet or the the Knights, the Knight Errant.
The Knight Errant.
And it's like something like this would move very black market-esque, and I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to be an area that's going to be widely unprotected.
So you're probably looking for a... I can't remember what the term is called. It's not spam zone, I believe it's static zone.
You're the professional here. I'm just new to this.
Faraday cage.
Well, Faraday cage does help, but you're looking for... Yeah, it's a static zone. It's essentially just dead zone.
Okay.
Like, how would you have cell phone service in the real world and you just have dead zones? Similar concept, where Matrix is just not performing as well as certain areas. I'll come back to that in a second. And
Okay.
Smiley, are you going to look for those same parameters?
Trying to think of what else we could look for.
While you think, Chord, what are you having your fixer look up for you?
The way I see it, in order for this Johnson to know, or this Jameson to have known where the real Johnson was going to be, he must have hacked into Neonet systems at some point and gotten information from them. So I'm looking for any information from on anyone who has a way to hack into Neonet, basically.
Okay. Like any attempts to hack?
Yeah, any records of people who have hacked into Neonet, or any like rumors surrounding that.
Okay, so Speedy,
probably required a skilled hacker to run that, so it might have been a paid job to have it found too.
So Speedy, you can inquire with your fixer, or better yet, you could probably talk to Eliza about that kind of thing.
I don't trust Eliza.
Okay.
I would like to either ask my fixer or do some snooping on my own via the Matrix.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to... I'm either going to have this be a connection-based roll... Let's try to get so much connection. 3. Smiley, your connection with Grun is 4.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are going to basically roll double your connection rating because we're going to test to see how well networked they are. And I'm going to do a generic roll here for both of these characters. see if you get any bonus dice. So this is for Mr. Hansen. This is for Run. Okay. So you're gonna add 3 dice, Bub.
Okay.
Or you're gonna add 2 dice.
So
Okay.
it's double our connection rating, right?
Double your connection rating plus the bonus dice I gave you.
Okay.
So our connection is 4. So I'm rolling
Bub got 2 hits.
8 dice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So 8d6. 1, 2, 2.
I got 2 as
Can
well.
I get any bonus for my neonet knowledge?
So Speedy, I have to resolve your roll differently.
Okay.
Okay. So, by the way, everybody's got their edge back if they haven't replenished all their edge yet.
All right.
Oh, thank Jesus.
Smiley, Haas, do you want to spend your edge?
No.
And Edge would just let us reroll, right?
Reroll all of your non-hits.
So then, yeah, that's a lot for me. So that's what is it? It's what is it? Greater
You
than,
get
less than?
Arrow points right.
4 or 5?
5.
5
Thank you.
for the code, yeah. There you go.
So 5 successes total.
Yes, there we go.
Good shit.
Okay, so Smiley and Haas, you guys look more directly into who Mr. Jameson is and anything about him. So, I have a handy table here for you. Based on your hits. Alright. So, Haas, unfortunately, you don't really find anything about data being moved, at least nothing like the Izanagi program, but probably wouldn't move that fast anyway, unless you're really determined to sell it on the Matrix, but even then, you still hear nothing about it. Other than finding Chord's leftover post about trying to sell a God Killer program.
Jesus.
Hey, I know this handle. Oopsie.
That's not good.
So, in regards to Mr. Jameson himself, here's what you discover. So, Smiley and Haas, what you learn is that Mr. Jameson, when both your fixers have a think on it, they're like, actually, yeah, I know there's a fixer out there by the name of Mr. Jameson, or at least there was one before he retired some time ago. Smiley, did you have 2 hits or 3? Smiley, you had 2 hits.
2.
So unfortunately, that is all you know, Smiley, and that he used to be a Shadowrunner, but he retired from doing that and went into life as a fixer after he had a bad leg injury. Unfortunately, that's all you know.
It's kind of like
Haas,
Did he perhaps take an arrow to the knee?
no.
So I'm just saying that's what that sounds like.
No.
I immediately suspect Grun.
And then LZT gets eaten by a dragon.
Hey, don't deal with dragons.
So, Haas.
Yes.
Miss Johansson has a bit of a think, and she's not. I've actually heard that name before. I've heard a few things about it. He was actually married, that guy. Yeah, he had a wife. Though she died a couple of years back. That wife. Her name was Glitz. She was a Shadowrunner. She actually broke in with Jack. I'm trying to remember. Fast Jack. She actually broke in with Fast Jack a few years ago on a job against Neonet. Though she got sick and died a little bit after. Though those of the Shadow community who actually looked into this sort of thing, because Fast Jack got infected with the same thing. Turns out it was this new thing that came out of Neonet called what they classified as CFD, cognitive fragmentation disorder. And after that, Miss Jameson just completely dropped off the grid. Like, nobody's heard from him since. And that's all she can recall. And she thought pretty hard about it. And then she asks you, and Grun asks us a very similar question.
I'm gonna
Why do you need to find this person?
get all of this information over to Chord about CFD, which is cognitive fraction, whatever.
Fragmentation disorder.
CFD and everything about. You said Glitz was the name?
Glitz is the name of the Shadowrunner that is his wife, and she died. She was a Shadowrunner. She was a Decker, in fact.
Right.
Shut up, Alexa.
Take a look at the house.
I didn't ask you for information.
With Fast Jack, I'm gonna get all that information over to Chord.
Chord, I'm gonna let you roll any kind of matrix knowledge with +10 because you should know who Fast Jack is.
Yeah, my backstory probably ties pretty closely into this too.
Not just because of that, but I'm gonna let you do a separate knowledge roll for that here in a moment. But go ahead and just do any matrix knowledge +10 dice.
Matrix knowledge +10 dice. All right.
And actually, LZT. Did anybody send this information to LZT?
Out of the loop.
Haas, did you include Shade in the loop?
I thought this was like a group text.
Okay, so it is.
Yeah, I was making it about our primary group.
LZT, you can roll memory +10.
Memory +10.
I got my limit on that. That's 7 successes.
Very good.
Oh, I actually, if it weren't my limit, I would have gotten a lot more. I've gotten 11.
It's a lot of successes. Damn.
Okay, so very good.
Where's memory under?
Main tab, left-hand side. It's under composure, judge intentions, those kinds of roles.
Oh, I looked there. I didn't see it. Okay, you said +10.
+10. Because you are a very experienced Shadowrunner. Smiley, well, you haven't been in the shadows as much. If you have any kind of shadow knowledge, Shadowrunner knowledge, you can run that at +3.
Fucking 4, easier.
Roll that at +3. The only thing I can think of is maybe politics or area knowledge for Seattle.
Neither of those would really help you here, so you probably wouldn't know of Fast Jack.
Nope. Unless I could use my spirits. Maybe there's a drink named after him.
No.
Aww.
I mean, if you're hanging out at Decker bars, maybe.
All right, LZT, are you sitting on 4 rolls?
Yes, I am.
Out of 16 dice, that hurts. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's not great.
So you both readily know Fast Jack is literally the best decker alive, or has lived. He achieved legendary status by sheer tenacity and longevity and has survived countless Shadowruns and challengers. He is extremely well known in the shadows, and he is damn good at keeping his tracks covered. Almost nothing is known about him, or what he physically looks like. All you know is that he just comes and goes, he vanishes. And there's a huge entire wiki article on this guy that I'm not going to go into great detail on, but he was well known for the Shadowland BBS, which is kind of like Reddit for Shadowrunners, until eventually that went down, and then up came Jackpoint, named after Fast Jack, who was the main admin of Jackpoint. Jackpoint is the biggest data haven for Shadowrunners in the world. It is sanctuary for Matrix users. So Speedy, you would know that handily. And you need a special invitation just to get into that particular data haven.
I have one of those, though.
Do you? It is a quality.
No, then no.
You should have one.
But with a roll on a 7, I can find one.
So Smiley, you may not know of Fast Jack or any of the legendary Shadowrunners, as this hasn't been your forte, per se. Haas, on the other hand, you know about the criminal world, maybe not the Shadowrun world. Do you have any kind of shadow knowledge?
Let's take a look. Shadow knowledge. I've got shadow community. Will that work?
Absolutely. Do that at +10.
Okay.
That sounds like Reddit.
+10?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Because Fast Jack is a huge name in the shadow community.
Got a lot of ones, man.
Like, very, very big.
Okay.
Might as well have said, oh no, this was Dodger. Oh, okay, we know who that is.
So Miss Johansson would have definitely told you about this at one point, maybe of the great Shadowrunning legends out there, but you have heard of Fast Jack. And Chord was the only one who got more in-depth knowledge. I suppose you were tracking Fast Jack or just seeing how he does his decking stuff. Or probably what got you into decking in the first place. Who knows? Or could have something to do with your backstory. Looking into legendary Shadowrunners for a certain something about certain somethings. But, Chord, you pick up some extra info about recent activity. Namely that he was involved in the second Matrix crash. Like, he survived the second Matrix crash. I believe he also helped Winter Knight take down Deus, the big, horrible AI that caused all the terrible things to happen. He survived the crash, and then he launched Jackpoint. Filled the role of a guy named Captain Chaos, and he has recently gone missing. Whereabouts are unknown, and some people, the rumor mill goes around that he was a victim of CFD, which is something very tragic and sad and terrible and terrifying. And everybody's been trying to find him, but he's a ghost.
Okay. Interesting. Did he disappear around the same time as Glitz?
So Glitz didn't technically disappear.
Right, she just died. Did he disappear around the same time that she died?
No. Fast Jack disappeared before Glitz died, like by a couple of years. Glitz died about a couple of years ago. Fast Jack went missing. I'm trying to remember when that was.
But it was years ago. Is there anything recent on
Fast Jack?
Fast Jack? Have rumors ceased at this point? Or are they dying down, or are there new things popping up?
I had to double check on this. Okay, so what else do you find, Chord, since you looked into Fast Jack? In 2072, that's when he, Riser, and an unnamed team of Shadowrunners, which you now know Glitz was one of them, they hit the Greek Dragon Cylidier's Albuquerque lair for a run. So up in Albuquerque. They become infected with CFD, essentially as the rumor mill goes, and this hit some big waves because Riser was told by Fast Jack to kill the rest of the team. Glitz somehow got out of there. But when she came around, Haas, because you're the one who had the memory knowledge about Glitz, she was sick with something. Nobody was able to really pinpoint what it was. She was just completely out of it. But she died a couple of years ago. So 2072 was the run. 2073 was when Glitz died. It is 2076 now, so technically it'd be...
And that was...
3 and 4 years, respectively.
That run was unrelated to the Matrix 2.0 crash, right?
Correct, because Matrix 2.0 happened in 2064.
Okay. And, okay, but Fast Jack survived Matrix 2.0? Was he supposed to be involved in Matrix 2.0, allegedly, or... a survivor of it?
He was a survivor, yes.
Matrix 2.0, for those of you who may not be aware, is the time that the Matrix straight up crashed due to a rogue AI thing.
Right. So what basically happened is...
Everyone who was jacked into the network at the time died.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's news.
Yeah. Crash 2.0 was a big damn deal, and LZT knows this, Chord knows this, is that Crash 2.0 happened because the great AI Deus, who took over the Renraku arcology based here in Seattle. You guys aren't that far from it. It is downtown. You might have driven past it on your way to the job or something like that. But the arcology was shut down by the AI Deus and opened up a couple of years later. He got out and he tried to get into the Boston Network Exchange, Trade Exchange?
The Stock Exchange.
Stock Exchange, thank you. So he got into the Stock Exchange in Boston, tried to upload himself and become God. Because, that's a great idea. And a combination of runners, including one famous one named Dodger, couple of AIs, some random deckers, and a bunch of other people, and a group called Winter Knight. They beat the shit out of Deus. They uploaded the virus.
One of them?
He turned into a tree, and the virus turned into a snake that killed him. The virus is called Jormungandr.
Nice.
Fitting.
Uh-huh. And he died. Fast Jack, I don't think, was actually one of them.
Okay.
He did have a lot of enemies of Deus, but I don't think he was involved in that battle against Deus when Crash 2.0 went down.
Okay. All right. I want to learn more about. I want to learn more about Blitz and Jameson by proxy, but Glitz is the one that I think I would be able to find more info on more readily.
All right. So how are we going to look up this information, Chord?
I would ask my fixer, Mason, who is also a another decker, who was involved with several Shadowruns against Neonet back in the day.
Okay, so he's actually going to get some automatic bonuses. So let's do a little roll for you. Mason's connection is what right
3.
3. Okay, so I'm going to do a memory roll with a bonus. Because you did give him specific information on Glitz and Mr. Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take his connection rating, plus the 2 dice I gave you, and then add another 4 dice.
Okay. So is it connection rating times 2 or just connection rating?
Connection rating times 2.
Okay, so 6 plus 2 plus 4, 12.
Okay, roll 12 dice.
Four successes.
4 successes. Okay. I'm going to actually spend a very, very special edge with Mason to reroll your non-hits. So roll 8 dice, please. Bingo.
Hey Mason, you have a Shadowrun with a girl by the name of Glitz? That's some information about her and Mr. Jameson.
Oh, Glitz, yeah, she was actually a bit of a big deal around these parts, now that I think about it. And Mr. Jameson, yeah, they were a pretty dynamic duo, now that I think about it. They did that one run against Neonet that, obviously, I'd have to have some fingers in that kind of thing myself. So, here's what he tells you, and you have the maximum amount of information. Here we go. So, everything that Haas learned, plus, you know that Mr. Jameson ran a small shell company. Essentially to front his fixer work, because any good fixer has to have some kind of way to supply themselves, hide away, and run their business and make money so they can do their operations. This company was absorbed into Neonet. This company is called Virtua Electronica. I will spell it for you in the Roll20 chat. That is Mr. Jameson's shell company. And Neonet bought out this company and basically I just said it. They bought the company and they merged a lot of the assets with Neonet. So it's become a subsidiary.
Is it still operational?
It was for a while, but now basically the main building that's here downtown is steadily being liquidated. The other thing you learn is that Mr. Jameson's fake SIN number, SIN ID, is James Jameson. Basically, nobody knows his real SIN. His real SIN was burned years ago, and his real name, basically he did that to keep his name from being exposed to the system. So nobody has heard his real name in years. Essentially, one day he popped up in Seattle, and everybody knew him as James Jameson. And he went by the Fixer handle or the Shadowrunner handle, Mr. Jameson. he was partners with his wife Glitz, whom they met each other in the shadows. He was the face of the team. And he had been shadowrunning for well over a decade. And you also learn, because you have that extra hit, is that they both got married in 2066. And had continued to do business until Mr. Jameson's injury, where he would then go into doing fixing. Then his wife died, his assets got merged with Neonet, and he dropped off the grid until just now.
Injuries?
Yeah, basically took a leg injury, a big one, so he couldn't do runs anymore. So essentially he just said, all right, I'll just use my networks, I'll use my connections, and I'll go as a fixer.
Did Mr. Jameson have a limp?
Not that you guys saw, so this was years ago, and he has since recovered. Yeah, he has since recovered his leg injury.
All right. I'll share that information with the rest of the group.
You do.
Looks like Mr. James Jameson is a ghost. Popped out of nowhere a few years ago. He Shadowrun with his wife, Blitz, and had a shell company that Neonet now owns. Wild.
Wait, Neonet owns the company?
Apparently, Virtua Electronica.
What sort of products do they push out? Or services? None?
That a shell company. He was using it as a front for Shadowrun, and it's
They would have had to do business, but you also read they're being liquidated.
right.
They had a building somewhere, right?
They did have a building, and tell you what, Speedy, I'll let you have this for free.
Oh!
In regards to the shop, Virtua Electronica, it started being liquidated about a month ago. They're selling off the rest of the inventory. The inventory would consist of mostly matrix parts, basically hardware for cyberdecks and comlinks. And they would actually sell a full-blown cyberdecks and comlinks. And they basically had a lot of modern-day parts, nothing old. Not like what Boombox would have. Boombox would have very legacy, vintage type of gear.
right. They wouldn't happen to be selling any sort of like special drives that could maybe hold a God Killer that we could get on the cheap.
Hey, got any spare? You know, just in case
Radio
we're
Shack
dropping.
sale 80% off.
They do sell data sticks. But
Hey, is Radio Shack still a thing in this?
It's called Radio Hack.
no, you can buy a cyber
$30
deck. You can buy a cyber deck that is a Radio Shack cyber deck. It's very
So they're still around.
buy one. Yes, they are still around.
Yeah, this is called Radio Hack, and the S
No,
is turned into a dollar
Radio
sign.
Shack. They are proper Radio Shack.
Yeah, but the S is turned into a dollar sign now because
It's
of
like
radio.
flickering.
For the record, other things that have survived, I currently live above a pawn shop called Hawk Blusters. They sell...
Oh God.
Szechuan sauce is still a thing.
Szechuan sauce.
it's soy Szechuan sauce.
Soy Szechuan.
Oh, of course it's called Szechuan sauce. Of course it is.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So
Hoss is kind of confused. Based off the information, you said that this is a company inside of Neonet that's been sold, or they're liquidating?
Yeah, that's selling out.
currently,
They were bought out completely by a Neonet a couple of years ago. This is
Yeah.
obviously after Glitz died. So they were bought out. They were made part of Neonet. And as of a month ago, they basically, Virtua Electronica is being liquidated.
can we get a list of their employees? If any.
You can find the shop, which is in northern downtown.
So, what are the chances of this thing being like right under their noses and not even knowing about it?
I'd say pretty good. If Jameson needed to get extra intel on Neonet and their God Killer, being a part of that company, not a bad way to do it.
It was in a position to get the info, definitely.
Well, what are we waiting on? Give me some addresses. I'll knock down some doors. We'll
Well,
find
somebody-
this Izanagi real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Something I gotta throw out there. Because this is a slightly important detail. Celadir, the Great Dragon, he is a part of Neonet, one of the multiple fractures of Neonet in the year 2076. So essentially, Fastjack with Glitz ran against Neonet when they contracted CFD. Glitz came home, and Speedy, because you rolled so well, something I glazed over.
Does everybody know what CFD is?
We're gonna have to do a separate roll for that, but but Speedy,
Oh, come on.
Since
CFD is pretty common knowledge.
But Speedy, since you had the extra hit, she was sick. She did contract CFD, and this did circulate in the shadows. But what also circulated because of that extra awesome hit you got? That's one more hit than I anticipated. You learned that she died of foul play.
Is it suspected that Fastjack was responsible?
No.
Okay. Is it suspected that Jameson was responsible?
No, not at all.
Okay. just throwing ideas out there. Those are the two names that have come up, and Fastjack wanted her dead, even if Fastjack is missing.
So I'll let you guys work at the rest of the pieces yourselves, but if you guys want to roll about anything with CFD, you're going to need some kind of corporate knowledge, corporate rumors.
To
Evonet?
know what CFD is?
I don't.
Oh, do we need to roll that to even know what CFD is?
LZT, if you actually know, if you personally know what it is, I'll let you tell the group.
I mean, I know what it is, yeah, but
I have a newsletter for Corporation Evo. I'm gonna roll it to see if I know anything.
Smiley, nope. Mm-mm.
I got one success.
Nope.
How
Okay.
about Corp for Horizon Group? Anything off that?
No, actually, because while Horizon is a big news conglomerate, they cover many things.
But not CFD. They refuse.
Well, no,
Look.
actually.
can I say what it is?
LZT, you may go ahead.
It's cognitive fragmentation disorder.
The thing that he already said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mentioned that part, but what's the other part about it?
It's caused by nanites, and you become essentially your body becomes the house of an AI.
Oh.
So one of the traditionally famous cases is Fastjack and Plan 9. And Plan 9 was someone who is now the host of an AI called Plan 10. They refer to themselves as like monads or something, if I remember correctly.
Plan 9, I remember, became one of the dissonant technomancers.
Yeah.
And she did end up making her own...
That's
I'm sorry,
horrifying.
that was past.
Yeah. No, it's like, oh, this is a nice person. I'm going to use this as a host. It's essentially a nanite virus that just takes over the host.
They don't die, do they? They're still.
Do you say that?
conscious?
Do you say that in game?
Oh,
was
like
just a
people with CFD in game?
Yeah, Smiley would be like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I mean, Hoss is probably not. You got to remember, he's young, so
How do you contract that?
I know what that is.
I'm guessing you got to be jacked in.
I guess.
And as soon as I find that out, I'm gonna look over at Chord and I'm like, "Don't do that."
It's nanites. It's like a physical robot. It's
Oh.
Use protection.
You don't catch it by plugging it into a wall socket unless that wall socket is made out of nanites.
Okay.
Like the safe decks.
So
Yeah.
where does she contract this shit?
Usually, AI are pretty keen on hanging around with nanites. So
Well,
don't hang around with AIs.
she caught it right after doing that big Neonet score, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember if it's.
So is this guy doing a job to shut down Neonet?
Have safe cybersex? I'm pretty
If
sure.
Mr. Jameson's wife contracted CFD from a Neonet job, or from doing a Neonet, he might hold them responsible for what happened to her?
Totally.
He might have it. he might not be James Jameson. He might be James Jameson II, and be
LZT. I will let you roll memory at +4, and see if you possibly notice the symptoms, since you're familiar with CFD.
Do you think this is enough of a mystery that I can make a roll to solve it?
Can I phone a friend? I'm gonna phone Smiley right now.
I mean, I do have my Oracle Spirit.
5 successes.
Ooh.
Woo!
Damn.
LZT. You think really hard about how Mr. Jameson was acting, and see, here's the thing. Any of the usual symptoms noted by CFD, how they just seem sort of distant or robotic in nature, or they seem kind of stiff in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
He was just naturally charismatic. There was no sign of CFD on this guy. He acted as normal as a human being.
Your definition of charisma and mine are way different. This guy was not charismatic. He was as charismatic as a fucking boot. He was clutching a grenade. Give me the thing or you all die.
But he was charismatic as a boot, not charismatic as a washing machine.
Well, then again, he did give you guys a friendly little spiel, professional spiel.
He said nothing personal.
Yeah.
That too.
Aha! So he's robotic. It's not personal.
Why would he say it's not
mechanical?
But real talk, LZT, from what you've read and you've learned of CFD, Mr. Jameson definitely did not show any symptoms of that.
Okay. But it could have been cured, though.
You can cure CFD?
Oh, yeah.
From how?
It's not pleasant.
I was going to say, I don't think there actually is a known cure.
Oh, no, there's cure. It's a Shiawase-made cyber scrub. It fucks up with all your augmentations, but it does cure you. And also, if you have the... which I feel comfortable with saying because it's unlikely that we're going to run to it. If you have the human...
LZT.
Yeah?
LZT, I just thought. It has not been developed yet, because here's the thing. And this is part of the reason why Horizon doesn't have any news reports on Haas. Is because CFD is still pretty hush-hush. Like, it barely has any circulation outside of the shadow.
Oh, okay. But for the purposes of lore, and I don't think we're going to run into it, metahuman vampire thing, I don't remember the name of it. People with
HMVV, the human metahuman vampiric virus.
If you have that, you cannot get CFD. But if you have CFD and get that, then you die from exposure. Because, hey, you don't like ultraviolet stuff. Guess what the nanites emit? A shit ton of ultraviolet. You burn up from the inside. Oopsie.
Okay.
Just for a quick mental image.
We have
So
all
we don't
this
need to become
information.
vampires.
We have all this information.
I mean, I don't think we know about the vampire thing. I imagine...
Everything pre that, though.
Yeah, CFD.
We can follow up on this building and see what we can find there. I don't know what else we could keep investigating as related to Neonet or this Glitz, unless we could find a body. Do we have Glitz's? Was she cremated?
No, she was shocked with one of those defibrillators to take out all the nanites.
Oh, I mean, the physical body. Like, can we find an autopsy report?
Actually,
I think that's what I would like to do.
I have an idea.
I want to find it.
yeah, Chord, you can run matrix search on that. In fact, anybody can if you want.
I want to find.
I barely know how to text.
I want to find her matrix tag, and I want to hack it and pose as her and post in a public forum.
Oh.
Does anybody have common sense?
Does anyone have a...
That doesn't matter. Totally doesn't matter. This is
doesn't matter.
this
The
is
big
plot-
question is, does anyone have a Ouija board?
this is plot enrichment. AF.
Wait. Can I summon ghosts?
Do you have summoning?
Yes, I do.
What do you want the ghost to do?
This is so fucked up. Hey,
I can summon them. I have
You
3.
Can talk to your ex-wife.
I have 9 dice in summoning. I could summon
So,
something.
but what do you want them to do?
Tell us where your fucking Mr. Jameson husband is.
Mr. Jameson husband.
No.
Yes.
It's very easy. We leave a message somewhere for Mr. Jameson saying, "Hey, give us the thing back, and you can talk to your wife again."
That's a good.
Please tell me somebody has common sense.
I don't have common sense.
But that's
Let's have common sense.
That makes sense.
Can
Maybe
I
not
ask
common.
Grun about this? Can I tell Grun and he has common sense? Maybe.
Let's be honest. I threw common sense out about 30 cats ago. So
LZT, did you have it?
I do have common sense. Yes.
Thank God. Okay. LZT,
This is a bad idea.
it's a terrible idea because one, after what Chord just told you about the mysterious circumstances she died, that would light you up like a red flag. Secondly, I don't think Mr. Jameson's not going to buy that. If it's his wife trying to pose as her or something, he's not going to buy that. Not for a fucking minute. You wouldn't buy that.
No, I mean, I'm not expecting him to
But I
believe that
haven't
it's
lost a
actually
lot.
his wife.
he's trying to rustle feathers, man. Like
It's baiting him.
yeah.
But yeah, LZT, for all the prep work that has actually gone into making this entire thing happen that you guys have been a party of, he would have covered many of his tracks, including anybody trying to bait him out in such a hackneyed fashion. So this will not work. And
Hackney or
would-
not, it would still rustle his feathers.
It'll be hilarious.
even if it does make him mad, the other problem is you're still basically throwing up big red flags. With,
That's not all I'm throwing at him.
it's not
Okay.
him. It's not him you should be worried about.
Well, I know. But it's
Okay.
him I'm currently worrying about.
So what I could do, she died under mysterious circumstances. I could ask her how she died.
Doesn't quite work like that for.
Let's take our brief break, guys. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and take our a 5-minute break so we can go get some refreshments and
I can
step
turn the
away.
AC on.
Yeah. We'll be back in 5, guys. Go ahead and bio break, grab something to drink, and come back, and we will see you. We'll see you shortly. Okay, see you soon.